Welcome back to another video. It is Monday, the 12th of October, 8:04 a.m. West Coast time. I have worked out, I'm caffeinated, and I'm good to go. Bitcoin is down 1% after biggest weekly price gain since July. I mean, let's look at the prices. This downturn of 1% is nothing compared to how much it rose. I think last video I did was Friday, and I did see, I want to say it was at 10,800. It was under 11,000. It had maybe just crossed over and dipped back down, but now we're halfway through to 12,000. It's looking really bullish because we always hear that this is the year that's mimicking 2017, where we saw the last historical bull run, and the one before that was 2013. Do you remember when in 2013 Bitcoin hit $1,000 to the shock of the financial world? And then it dropped to about 300 and traded sideways for a few years. Then it rose in 2017 or early 2018 to an all-time high of $20,000. And then it dropped down to $3,000. So, and then I actually bought some around that time. That was perfect. Good. So let's see. Bitcoin has dropped a little bit since it kind of spiked. Top cryptocurrency by market value climbed nearly 6.6% in the 7 days to October 11th, capping its biggest single week percentage rise since the last week of July. The flipping of the stiff resistance of 11,200 into support is bullish, according to Stack Funds research analyst Leonard Neo. So his last name is Neo. That's interesting. So far, however, the follow-through to the breakout has been poor. The cryptocurrency is currently trading in the red near 11,250, having printed highs nearly 11,500 over the weekend. And at the time of this article, maybe, but if you look at the price, I think we're back close to that 11,500. So, however, the pullback may be short-lived. Last week, Bitcoin miners sold more than they generated and ran down inventory by around 1,000. So if they sold more than they generated, that means the demand is high and they can't keep up with the demand, meaning the supply should go down and the price should go up, according to the supply and demand fundamentals. The miners' rolling inventory MRI figure, which tracks the changes in how much Bitcoin miners are holding, held well above 100% last week. The 5 and 12-week MRIs are also above 100%. Miners liquidate their holdings almost on a daily basis to cover operational costs, but will offer more when they feel the market has the strength to absorb the additional coins without harming price. As such, the increased miner outflow is a sign of strength in the market, according to Charlie Morris, Chief Investment Officer at ByteTree Asset Management. Additionally, payment company Square's recent disclosure of major Bitcoin investments has given market players a fresh shot of confidence. Philip Gradwell's chief economist at the blockchain analyst Chainalysis told CoinDesk the major portion of last week's 6.6% rise happened after Square announced its Bitcoin investment on Thursday. Yes, Square did announce a $50 million purchase of Bitcoin, which is so funny because MicroStrategy, went quintuple on that. They bought, I think, $250 million plus worth of Bitcoin. Crickets, basically. No one cared, but I guess because Jack Dorsey's well known and Twitter and Square are more prominent household names compared to MicroStrategy, it's a big deal. I still think this is more probably on the fact that, over the weekend, Trump suggested that we were going to continue stimulus talks. So I think everything's kind of up on the stimulus news, but let's keep reading. While the path of least resistance for Bitcoin appears to be on the higher side, a move to the next major resistance at 12,000 may remain elusive if the resurgence of the CV cases across Europe tanks global equities and boosts haven demand for the US dollar. Quote, the macro environment factors still play a strong factor in the direction of BTC as its correlation to the S&P 500 continues. Cool. All right, and on that note, before what I was talking about, if all U.S. companies followed Square, $250 billion would enter Bitcoin market. And I think, honestly, 2 companies have done it, and they've done it well and bigly. I'm sure more companies are going to follow. I don't think it's going to be far-fetched to say in the next month we'll see maybe 1 or 2 more well-known household names suggesting that they're putting their assets into crypto. Anyway, this past week, U.S. fintech giant Square made mainstream media headlines when it deployed $50 million worth of its cash to purchase Bitcoin. This represented approximately 1% of the $90 billion company's total assets, reported sites like Bloomberg. While a big move, there were some Bitcoin maximalists that criticized the 1% figure, mentioning that it was too small to make an impact in the increasingly liquid crypto market. But as analysts later noted, if all companies follow Square leads, a massive wave of capital would enter the Bitcoin space, easily pushing it to all-time highs. It's so true! And I believe it can happen. What if everyone followed Square in purchasing cash? Sorry, what if everyone followed Square in purchasing Bitcoin? Sorry, my phone distracted me. According to crypto venture investor and analyst Ian Lee, U.S. businesses have a total of $25 trillion in assets at the moment. Wow. So, just even a tiny bit would make a huge impact on the crypto market if all the companies did it. That means that if each of these businesses followed Square's lead and deployed exactly 1% of their assets into Bitcoin, $250 billion worth of inflows will enter Bitcoin. Of note, this excludes financial companies, institutional investments, governments, and retail globally. You may think that $250 billion isn't a lot. Bitcoin, after all, currently has a market cap of just around $200 billion. But it's worth taking the, quote, fiat amplifier multiplier effect into account. The effect suggests that for every fiat dollar invested in Bitcoin, the market capitalization of BTC increases by more than that $1. Interesting. Chris Berninski, a partner at Placeholder Capital, once mentioned that his firm uses the range of 2 to 25x, taking a low-end estimate of 5 times the $250 billion that could enter the space if corporate entities followed Square, would result in a growth of over $1.2 trillion for BTC's market cap, meaning prices would shoot past $50,000. Making it easy for investors to enter. Although what Lee said was theoretical, Square is attempting to make it easy for its corporate peers to adopt Bitcoin. In fact, it alongside the corporate adopter of Bitcoin MicroStrategy, there we go, released their respective resources and web pages to teach other companies and their CFOs how to invest and store large sums of BTC. Both companies also explain why Bitcoin makes sense in the current macroeconomic environment. Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter and Square, for one, called it the native currency of the internet. As reported by CryptoSlate, many think that the backdrop for institutional adoption of Bitcoin is stronger than ever before. Andrew Kang, it's funny, founder of Mechanism Capital, gave the following reasons why buying Bitcoin now makes sense. Volatility has declined massively. Inflationary trends are looming. Yields in other markets are low. The stock market and other legacy markets have high valuations, and the space is getting validated by Wall Street. Bitcoin, currently ranked number 1 in market cap, is up over 0.73%, blah, 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 blah. We know. Okay, yes. Like I said, if other companies start doing this, get ready for a real bull run, because this isn't like single investors. This is corporate entities investing millions upon millions of dollars into Bitcoin, as opposed to even a single whale or a mom and pop buying partial Bitcoin. This is huge. Over the counter or not, will drop the supply that's available and the price will go up tremendously. And Square did it, and before that MicroStrategy did it, so I'm pretty sure other companies are going to start following suit. It just makes sense. If you are a corporation sitting on a bunch of cash, you're losing money. You're just losing it. It just doesn't make sense to hold it anymore. Okay, and in other bullish and exciting news, this stuff is always fun to read. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but if history repeats itself, Bitcoin is to reach $400,000 in the next bull cycle. Before I jump into that, it's worth mentioning that we should not get super excited when we hear about price news like that, or price predictions. Yes, Bitcoin will hit 400K. Yes, Bitcoin will hit $1 million. Is it really the price of Bitcoin going up, or is it it's just like gold. Is gold really going up, or is the US value or the dollar value really just dropping? Like, what happens if in 5 years Bitcoin is worth $1 million? But what if $1 million only buys you a car as opposed to a house in 5 years because the inflation is so bad? So just be careful when you read these exciting predictions like, oh my God, Bitcoin's going to hit 400K in a few years. Yeah, but what if 400K is meaningless in a few years? Hyperinflation is real. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I don't mean to burst the bubble, just something to think about when you hear prediction news like this. But if history repeats itself, Bitcoin might make a run for 400K in late 2021 or early 2022, according to a popular industry proponent. The latest surge strongly resembles price action similar to that in the beginning of the previous bull run. Plenty of speculations are already out there regarding the new all-time high that Bitcoin might hit throughout its new bullish cycle. One of them is particularly positive, using the historical performance of BTC during the last major bull run as a reference. Bitcoin to 400K in the next bull run, according to a popular industry expert by the Twitter handle Titan Inc., Bitcoin is poised to chart similar gains as it did back in 1617, like I told you. And there's the 2013 one right there that I was just telling you. Look at that. It keeps repeating itself. It goes boom, and then it kind of then boom, and then then boom right here. We're seeing it again. And then it'll go, and then it will boom right here. My mouse is. Yeah, it's annoying. Sorry. But yeah, like the pattern is more visible than any kind of... You can't pick a stock and see a pattern this visible. Like this... I mean, we don't know that it will go by the pattern, but it's so clear. Look at that. In the first chart that he shared, he outlined the price has gone through a similar pattern and is on the verge of breaking out. He also shared the overall percentage increase of BTC since the event took place until the previous all-time high of around 20K from December 2018. I'm pretty sure it was January 2018, not December 2017, but whatever. At that time, price surged 3,450%. Given that BTC currently trades at around 11,400, a similar increase would mean that the price would reach 400,000. This would also put Bitcoin's total market cap at around 7.3 trillion. The chartist outlined that Bitcoin broke out of a bullish pennant around September 2016, and it just did the same thing following the latest increases. Before I even read this, I'm not selling my Bitcoin. I will use it to buy things, but I'm never going to sell it. I will be using it to buy things in 5 to 10 years when things are actually priced in BTC. When you go to Coldwell Banker to look at houses in the window, and all the houses that are listed at advertisements in the window have a little $B sign, not an $S sign. You hear what I'm saying? According to this expert, when this pattern was broken in 2016, it took about 1 year and 3 months for the price to increase by a whopping 3,450%. Should history repeat itself, Bitcoin should reach a price of 400K in late 2021 or at the beginning of 2022. Do you guys not ever just skim your articles for 5 seconds after hitting that post button? Like, the amount of typos and spelling errors I read is just, it's like not professional. Like, come on. Really? You couldn't just scan your article for 5 seconds, Mr. George Georgiev? George Georgiev. Interesting. This is not the first time someone has been so bullish on Bitcoin. As Crypto Potato reported earlier, another prominent analyst going by the handle of Crypto Bull said that cryptocurrency might moon to 430,000 by late 2021. Again, he bases assessment on previous performance, taking into account how Bitcoin did in 2013 and mid-2016. Exactly. If you look at the historical chart, it's evident. But you can't be sure that it's going to follow the historical chart pattern. Well, let's take a look at prices again. I mean, everything's pretty much in the green here. Let's take a look at the big winners and losers of the day. We know Bitcoin's doing well. Binance Coin's doing well. Chainlink and Polkadot are back in the top 10. Monero is up 8%. I don't hear about that very much. That's the privacy coin. It's supposedly Bitcoin, but completely private. Private transactions can't be traced. I mean, I think Bitcoin will eventually get a feature like that. I do have some Monero, but I'm not super excited about it. Yeah, I mean, everything's kind of like... I usually don't go past the top 50. Nothing too exciting to report there. Yeah, before we get into the gold stuff, let me just pull up my portfolio. And it was very much in the green today when I looked. That's got to be on stimulus news. I mean, we're up 2.21%. About $800 in my own portfolio for today. Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and S&P are all trending upwards in a nice way. Tesla and Nvidia and Apple and Amazon are up. Just looks like tech in general. And that is likely due to the fact that we're talking about stimulus again, which means the prospect of more money getting pumped into the market, which means stocks only go up. Looking at precious metal prices, things have kind of dipped a little bit, but everything's kind of holding nicely. Silver's doing the nicest, back in the low 25 range, and gold is still in the low 1900 range, which is good. Gold and silver futures prices are steady to slightly higher in early U.S. trading Monday. Recent price action has turned the daily charts more bullish for both metals, which is inviting some fresh technical buying interest. December gold futures were last up $1 at 1927.40, and December COMEX silver was last up at 11 cents, 0.2 at 25.22 an ounce. Global stock markets were mostly firmer overnight. U.S. stock indices are set to open the New York day session mixed to firmer. That's weird. The U.S. Treasury markets and U.S. government are closed Monday for the Columbus holiday. Oh, the Treasury markets, because I was going to say the market's open. 3 weeks before the U.S. elections, wow, is it really only 3 weeks? Woo! Oh, man. Guys, let me just take a moment to say, you have 3 weeks to get everything you might need for a really, really shitty time. Food, emergency supplies, guns, ammo, weapons, melee weapons, armor, shields, batteries, medicine, Probably nothing will be that bad, but like you just need to be prepared because we're going to be seeing for the first time in U.S. history a contested election where nobody knows who the president is and nobody trusts the other side. It could get real bad. Sorry. Also, there's now talk in the marketplace that the Democrats could take the Senate, possibly having all three branches of government be Democrat-controlled. That would be very scary. This possibility has not rattled the stock market, despite such a scenario likely meaning higher taxes for citizens and businesses. Because the stock market doesn't believe it, but they will fucking be out once that happens. The tone of the marketplace at present suggests traders and investors may be more relieved than a suspected solid loss by Trump would make for a less uncertain exchange of power, as opposed to a very close election result that Trump could more easily contest if he lost. In other news, the U.S. Congress does not appear to be getting closer to a 19-related package for Americans. Interesting, I thought it was. 19 continues to spread in an alarming rate in parts of Europe, including the UK, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? China has relaxed its rule on the trading of its currency, the yuan, specifically shorting it, suggesting China wants to slow the appreciation of its currency, which hit a 1.5-year high against the dollar. Yikes for us. The important outside markets early today see the U.S. dollar index firmer. NYMEX crude oil prices are weaker and trading around $40 a barrel. There is no major U.S. economic data due for release Monday. U.S. economic data due for release Friday is light and includes monthly wholesale trade. Okay. Didn't hear about this, the Democrats possibly taking the Senate. But let me tell you something, guys. It really is going to come down to, well, the whole mail-in voting thing. I don't know what that even means anymore. Some of the people that I listen to predictions, like Vox Day, I love the man. He doesn't even think that's going to be a problem. He is 100% Trump landslide for sure happening. I want him to be right so bad. I lean on him. He's got high IQ, 15 more years of life on this earth than I do, and very good pattern recognition, so I hope he's right. I'm personally worried about, the mail-in voting thing. But when you see the rallies, I mean, there is literally zero enthusiasm for the Democrats. Nobody is going to see Joe Biden and Kamala speak. Nobody's going to see Bernie speak. Nobody's going to see Liz Warren speak on behalf of these people. Like, nobody's actually coming out and showing support for the Democrats, but they might hate Trump so much that they'll still vote for the Democrats. But nobody's actually showing any enthusiasm for it, just like last time. So we'll see what happens. I know I've kind of segued into politics, but oh dear, yeah. Oh boy, I'm getting stressed just thinking about the election. It's got serious ramifications for me as a white male. Basically, if we lose, I'm going to be oppressed. They're going to start oppressing the white man. Not that they haven't already, but I mean, we're going to see them turn up the notch bigly on that. Anyway. That's going to do it for the financial update, and I may put out another video this morning. I'm kind of feeling in a mood to record more, so other channel, though. Have a good one. See ya.